What's up, fellow YouTube artists and aspiring artists? It's Mike here with Aristotle Custom Spray Paint Art, and we are back at it again today with another spray paint art tutorial. Today's tutorial, we're gonna learn how to paint a scene like this. A beautiful night sky with the galaxies, some silhouetted trees. We're gonna go over a few new tips, tricks, and techniques. So if you're just getting into the art of spray paint, if you're already a master and just looking to add to your arsenal, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's get right to it. So let's jump into today's tutorial. We're gonna just be kind of freestyling and kind of coming up with a general game plan here. For today's tutorial, you're gonna need some poster board. I cover this in a lot of videos. It is Art Skills poster board. I buy it at Walmart. Basically any kind of cardstock with a glossy side so the paint doesn't soak through. Get some gloves on, you're gonna want that for this video. I'm gonna use a few different types of paint. Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch is one of them. I always paint with gloss. I'm gonna use some Quick Color. This is a cheaper off-brand by Rust-Oleum. It's got a lighter, mistier spray. I'm gonna have a variety of different colors in both of those. I'm also gonna want some gloss clear coat, Rust-Oleum. This will help work the paint if we need to. We're gonna use some of this Artist or Sea Sponge, likely a plastic bag. I've used painter's tape to tape down my painting. It's also gonna get a nice little border around the edge. Without further ado, let's dig in. Really, each of these tutorials is not about creating the exact same painting that I am. It's about learning techniques and just kind of having someone walk you guys through a painting. So today, main focus is going to be our night sky. I'm going to go about creating a galaxy. I'm just coming in with little bursts of paint. I'm going to layer a few colors for underneath. That might come in handy here. I'm going to leave this area pretty, I'm not going to add a whole lot of paint to this area here. I'm going to just focus on a light mist of both black and a little bit of blue. I don't want just a flat black sky. This will be a night sky scene. So I'm going to go in, purposely just leave some areas untouched. Put a bit of blue in there. In that same kind of shape we had before for the galaxy, I'm even gonna go in with some white here. Maybe a little bit of Quick Color black. Just gonna spray some paint on the tip of our finger here. Flick it off to the side. We're gonna start building up some stars. You wanna go from all different directions. Flick kind of firmly and quickly. The faster you flick, the more stars will come out, and then as that paint starts to flick off your finger, you might have to add a bit more. We're going to overkill here because we have a lot of layering to do. We want this to look like a really deep, rich night sky. That's all I'm going to do right now. I'm going to kind of just let that sit for a second. I'm going to come in with actually probably just a little bit of Rust-Oleum even over some of these stars. I'm just trying to create a layered effect here. So a lot of this will just be background in our night sky. I'm going to crunch the bag up a little bit. I'm just going to tap it along where I added the purple. So as you can kind of see, that's a really cool effect. We have just a few stars kicking around. We're starting to get a really nice kind of bright night sky. I'm gonna go in with just a bit of yellow here. It's a clogged cap, but I'm actually gonna use that. This is just an accidental little thing, but it's really just sputtering out of the can. I'm just gonna leave that in there a little bit. I'm back in with my plastic bag just over this yellow bit in certain areas, leaving a bit behind. I'm gonna go back in with some white here. Broke the tip off of this can, so it's as good as garbage. So I'm just like pressing it down off to the side here. I'm gonna dab my finger in it and flick it off. The Rust-Oleum Quick Color did not work very good. So I'm pretty happy with how this looks. We're just going for a pretty night sky. I tend to put planets in almost everything. A lot of spray paint artists do that. For this one, I'm just gonna let the sky speak for itself. Kind of getting bored of the same exact kind of cliche scenes and stuff. This one's bordering on that as well, but it's all about just experimenting. If you're getting stale with things, change it up. There's a lot of different stuff to paint and a lot of stuff you can do with spray paint itself. So I'm just adding a little bit of brightness to the sky there. I'm going to try out this fluorescent paint. It is not the same brand. I've used it before in the past. I've just been wondering if I can incorporate this back in my painting. So I'm just going to touch a few areas and see if it's going to have a cool effect. Yeah, it gives it a cool little fluorescent variance in the color. One more round of stars. Now we're just going to come in with our black here, very lightly. Just like bridging that gap between the sky and darkness in the corner here. Something to really keep in mind, that light spray comes with practice. It's really hard to do with these cans. It's got a combination of movement, distance, pressure on the tip of the or the cap, I suppose. It's going to take some time. Really play around with that. Honestly, a light touch is very important. So I'm going to speed up the drying process on this one. I don't recommend you do this. So now we have a corner. We're actually going to put some trees here. Very, very simple, very, subtle trees, hopefully. So once this is dry, and you do want it dry, I'm going to go in with this quick color. Shake it really, really good. And I'm going to show you guys the power of this paint. The black has to be dry, absolutely. And we're just going to go in kind of just at the tops here and add just a bit of mist. We might even just hint at a horizon. This black is all going to be trees. So that's it. That's honestly even more than I wanted to do. So gonna let this section dry as well. If you're not painting live at an event, there's no reason for you to be rushing. Just take your time and learn the art, and maybe eventually you can, paint as fast as you want. But for now, if you want to not be frustrated, let it dry. I'm going to take just a little card here off to the side, take my black. I'm going to spray black in a pool here, being careful not to overspray onto my canvas. I'm going to take this artist sponge, and now I know it looks like a tree already kind of. I'm not intending that. That's just how it ripped off. But I'm going to see if that point is helpful. The key is you don't want the same pattern all the way across, so I'm going to mix it up and use different angles of it to get different effects. But we're going to do that by spraying paint here and then dabbing this in it and going in. Again, this has to be dry for this to work. So this is really the last step of this painting. We're going to go in and we're just going to dab in some trees, varying the texture, varying the pressure. And again, we're going to start with less is more. So I'm going to dab my paint on, take that edge. Picking up paint as you go. So that looks pretty good. Really gonna wanna have a decent amount of paint on here. So you might have to reload almost after every go. I'm gonna rip like a little piece off the sponge here and just try to get a different effect. I'm gonna actually rip it in two. I'm gonna use these for smaller trees. And let's continue playing around with this. Some of them you don't have to really pronounce. You can just hint at them and they'll look pretty good. You can work it sideways, go back and forth. You do want the corner or the bottom to be pretty dark, so you can just dab across. Happy little trees, guys. You do want some negative space in the background. You don't want it to look like completely solid. In my opinion, at least, you tend to lose a bit of effect. If you guys want, try different techniques with this. Play around. Lighter touch again is better. Do some background ones, some ones that look like they're way off in the distance a little bit, or a little less noticeable. If you don't have enough paint, you will start picking up paint off the painting. You don't really want that, I don't think, so tread with caution there. Add paint as you go. It's looking pretty good. I'm just going to play around with these a little bit and we're pretty much going to call it quits. This looks a little funny now, but I think once we take the tape off, it'll have the effect I'm going for. All right, I like it. Hope you guys picked up a thing or two. It's really just all about experimenting, playing around, trying new things. If you guys are feeling the creative crunch, try something new. You don't need to do like a planet, water, mountain every single time. I get stuck in that loop too. I know that's what a lot of people want to see, but try something new. Hopefully this painting, was inspiring a little bit or makes you guys want to try it. If you do a similar piece, make sure to tag me on Instagram, send me a message. I'm always down to check out some of your art. Really appreciate you guys watching. A couple things left. We're going to sign the painting. That's key. Tell the world it's yours. I'm going to peel off the tape. That's always really cool to watch. And we'll sign off for now. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll check you guys in a future tutorial. I'm going to give this whole thing a quick spray with clear coat after shaking it really good just to get it a nice even consistency. Then I'm going to sign it. Then I'm going to peel the tape. As you spray this, you'll literally see it kind of becoming more vibrant, if you will. So there we go.